Yeah, I'm glad y'all said that because a lot of the newer artists that I talk to and the generation that's new, they want 90s music because they say the music today sucks. But I gotta be real with you. You know what I'm talking about. A lot of 90s music was garbage too. Don't front. I remember, I hate saying people's names, but You remember Joe Sinister, yo? They said it sounded like Redman?
Never heard of him.
Remember the guy who bit Ice-T? He took OG Original Gangsta and said, I'm the drug man?
Oh.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. There's music that was in the 90s that was trash. And one of my favorite songs that everybody loved in the 90s that was garbage was I Wish I Was a Little Bit Taller. I Wish I Was a Baller. Wish I Had a Girl Who Looked Good.
That
I Call Her.
came out today.
That would have came out today, but the #1 hit. Yeah. But back then, please. The simple fact they took his ball in the video and threw it away, that's how I felt about the song. You know what I'm saying? But enough respect to all of them because they did come out and they did, make some money for their families and their people. So shout out to them in the industry that made that shit happen. So back to what I'm saying, we always criticize what's new and compare it to what was. Because I remember back in the day, people said Nas was trash. I don't want to hear no little niggas like that. He's garbage. And they told Rakim, I don't want to hear you. You rap too slow. Be more up tempo. And they also said KRS-One was whack. Public Enemy, No More Music for the Suckers. You know that song, right? Mr. Magic. So every time something comes out, we always put it under the test to see if it rocks or if it doesn't. And the thing that makes a person stand out is going through the fire, being made pure, and then being presented as gold. Why do you think, as a decorated veteran artist, people don't want to go through the fire and they just want the gold today?
Honestly, it's a lot easier now. Social media and all of these different outlets, it made it easier. Back then, you had to really rap and really had talent and really have to prove yourself to even get clapped for.
Steve, let me ask you this. Your generation, and I'm not putting you on blast to represent your generation. I'll just ask you because you are the person of the generation now.
Yeah, of course.
You know why I hate y'all generation on some real stuff and why I love y'all at the same time? Because y'all are the 90s. 90s hip-hop will live forever because that's when people didn't give a fuck. Back in the day, you had to be in a group. It was the Awesome Two, right? It was the Funky Four plus one more. What was my man? The Treacherous Three. And everybody had cadences. Dun, 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 you know what I'm saying? And everybody looked like Sub-Zero. They had leather suits on and shit, right? And then Run DMC changed the game. Then with Run DMC, you had to have the cadence. Shout out to the Migos, who I'm not really into their music, but they brought that style back. Dun, 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 right? So you got the dun, 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 woo, dun, 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 so it's the same thing. Y'all generation took that, but y'all think you took it and did not take the lessons from it. One lesson I hate that people didn't learn is about technology. Can today's hip hop be hip hop without the phone? What do you think?
You good at this.
I know.
Damn. I feel like I mean, you could also flip that and be like, what would 90s hip hop be with the phone?
Horrible.
Yeah. The phone, I feel like social media, that's what I'm assuming you mean with the phone.
Yeah, right? Definitely. Take it. Just tell me what you think.
Yeah.
We're gonna build on it.
I think that just allowed more eyes to see the entire spectrum. Because, it was harder to break into hip hop back in the 90s. You had everything was up close and personal. Like he said, you had to prove yourself. You had to get up on that stage. I feel like even crowds were harsher back then. Like,
yeah.
Over here, it kind of just adds to the idea that there really is something for everyone. Like the music that we think is trash, because I'm pretty sure.
I do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like if we break it down and talk about certain artists, like we probably gonna have the same opinions. But I also understand that the game has evolved and we listen to hip hop for different things. There's subgenres of hip hop now.
Yeah.
Whereas back then, like there were, but there weren't as many. Now it's like hip hop is I feel like it's the best genre to mix with every other genre. There's no other genre that is so malleable to like rock, to R&B, to pop, to even country.
Because he said malleable. You're the man.
Yeah.
That was great.
So I'm saying, without the phone,
Yeah.
The standards might be, I wouldn't even say higher. Honestly, I think, not to say, closed-minded would be the wrong word. Or narrow-minded would be the wrong word. But it's somewhere along those lines where, you know, now we don't get to be exposed to, we wouldn't be exposed to the good in it too, you know? The bad is highlighted, but the good is still there.
I'm glad you said that, because Bridges, he can sort of put a great question that I want you to answer. What do you think 90s hip-hop would have been with social media?
Shit. With social media, 90s hip-hop probably would have been amazing. It would have been, I think it probably would have been bigger than what it was.
I disagree, but I want to hear what you say.
Now you would have had a way to spread it to more people. And you could directly interact with more people.
True, but come on, we talking about the 90s. And look at the artists that we had that was pushing the... See, remember, I want everybody to remember this. Hip-hop is only 50 years old. Hip-hop don't even have an AARP card yet. Hip-hop is a young man or woman right now. You see what I'm saying? Think about this, really. So, when we talk about Grandmaster Caz, Kool Herc, even before them Grandmaster Flowers, MFSB, Love is the Message, we're talking about an infant. And in life, a person goes through building stages every 5 years. 0 to 5 is your birth. 5 to 10, introduced to the world. 10 to 15, you question yourself in the world. You know, peer pressure, you know, things like that. 15 to 20, now you start to see that you matter. 20 to 25, what am I going to do with myself? 25 to 30, nah. Now things are starting to make sense. I have to find my purpose. From 30 on, your files break down into who am I, what's my purpose, and what's my legacy to live on. Hip hop is just getting into legacy mode now. And it's 50 years old. So that infant, to me, in the 90s, would have been crazy. Could you imagine all the diss records we had? People got Twitter and stuff. You know how many casualties we would have had in the 90s? Because people didn't care. Okay? Because remember, it was so brand new back then that you still had to fight for it. I personally believe, and you tell me if I'm wrong, you too, add in. I believe 50 Cent was the last generation of 90s music. Because he took the don't care, I don't give a fuck attitude and put it to hip hop, but people was like, oh, we don't do that anymore. But it worked. To the point where people started to follow him and it destroyed an entire coast. You see what I'm saying? If I put 90s hip hop to the social media, I think it would have been worse. Because just like we say, there's too much music now. Imagine all the money they put in 90s hip hop never happened, and then we just have a bunch of people rapping and they weren't polished MCs.
Yeah.
That's the problem. 90s hip hop was more, you're polished, I can listen to you. Today's music is, I'm gonna grow with you to see how you develop. There's no A&R now. How does that hurt the game, Bridges? What do you think? With no A&R and people just able to just rap and just put beats out.
It's pretty much you're not giving the artists don't have no type of direction, no sense of, you know, what to do, no image, no nothing. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of these artists nowadays they do need artist development. They do need a coach. They do need somebody to say, look, I think you should do this more than you do that, or fix this and do that over.
How can somebody coach you and make you better as an artist and a musician, you think?
I personally think, I feel like me personally as an artist, I've already been coached and I'm continuing to be coached. Because, for example, I've listened to Reasonable Doubt probably like 50 times all the way through.
Okay.
I listened to it again a few days ago, and I'm still learning just the incredible cadence that Jay had in his flows, which is drastically different from what he does now.
Tell me a lot.
I'm still learning, like, you know, the bars he was using, because like I feel like Jay and Biggie, like, the punchlines were like ahead of it. Their punchlines were still, they would have a crowd of kids like, you know, like today, you know.
I'll tell you a secret. I know an MC, somebody said spit some bars. He spit bars. They said those are the greatest lines ever. And he was like, you dummy, that's not even me. That's Biggie. They didn't even know it. Happens.
That's probably facts. Nah, there's I even talked to my little brother. My little brother, like, as much as he wants to be a student of the game, like, he not. He's a student of today's game. I feel like to
That's
be
cool.
the greatest artist, it's still cool. But I feel like to be a great artist, you need to learn from the past in order to affect the future.
All right, stop right there. Stop right there. That's a great point. So then, as a new artist today, how would you coach an elder artist on how to be proactive and victorious in the game today for you with your generation then? Because one can't teach the other without the other one teaching just the same way. Left hand washes the right hand washes the left hand, both hands wash the face, and they present itself. So school them, and so their presentation is just as good.
How would I don't know, man. I feel like I would teach, not necessarily teach, but just guide them to what they created, what y'all created. Because, like you said, one hand washes the other. Can't have the past without the future. Or no, you can't have the future without the past. Well, actually, both are accurate.
Pretty
Because
much.
with the past, you have the future, yeah. But the future keeps the legacy of the past going.
Quotable.
And the way I see it, you know, like my dad, an OG himself, who still tells me like, yo, like you should be making like hard music, all that stuff. You know, he still has that closed mind state. Not necessarily closed. You know, at the end of the day, like in 20 years, I'm gonna listen back to what I'm listening to now, and I might have a hard time grasping what hip hop has become then.
Yeah.
But I had to put my dad on to like Section 80 by Kendrick Lamar, and show him like, yo,
Great album.
this is what's happening right now. You know, like it's not just what you hear on the radio. Good Kid, Mad City.
Great album. Classic.
I'm trying to think. Even though OGs was still dropping gems, like especially during that time, like in 2012, I think Nas dropped Life Is Good. Life Is Good is a great album to me.
Great
That
album.
I love it.
fire.
Great album. Cherry Wine.
You know, right there, right there. No, what was it? No Introduction.
Yeah.
But I would say, you know, like I wouldn't necessarily try to teach y'all because y'all teaching me. I mean, so I guess we're teaching each other. But I would say like I want to guide you to the different worlds that you have created, because y'all created a whole bunch of stuff. It's not just what's on the radio. It's not just trap. Outkast is my favorite artist of all time. You know, that doesn't mean that, you know, without them we wouldn't have a lot of the Atlanta artists that we have today, and they acknowledge it.
Say that again.
Yeah, you know, so the way I see it, y'all just y'all changed the world without even realizing it. I feel like you gotta understand that the world that y'all were in became so much bigger. It's not all bad. It's not all negative.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I would teach.